When real businesses meet blockchains, tokens stop being just symbols. They decide who gets paid, who takes losses, and who actually cares about outcomes. In this module, we'll design that alignment between on-chain capital and messy off-chain reality. In an RWA protocol, a token is really a bundled claim. It can carry economic rights, like a share of interest or profits. It can carry control rights, like voting on risk limits or redemptions. And it can carry utility, like access or discounts. Clear, intentional bundling is what makes RWA protocols defensible. Think of this as plumbing for money. First, real-world activity generates cash flows. Borrowers repay, customers pay invoices, fees accrue. Those inflows are aggregated and reported into a smart contract router. The router doesn't decide anything. It simply follows predefined rules that specify who gets paid first, in what order, and in what proportions. The outcome is predictable, automated on-chain distributions that everyone can verify in real time. Pro-rata pooling is the simplest way to share a real-world asset on-chain. Everyone holds the same kind of token, and every dollar of cash flow is split strictly by each wallet's share of the total. Risk is completely uniform. Upside and downside are identical for all investors, regardless of size or sophistication. Designing cash flow distribution is choosing between everyone shares everything and some people get protected first. Pro-rata pools spread risk and yield evenly. They're intuitive, lightweight, and work well for simple retail-style capital, but nobody gets extra safety or extra upside. Waterfall structures carve the pool into senior and junior slices. Seniors trade higher yield for protection, while juniors intentionally take first loss risk in exchange for higher potential returns. Now picture all cash flows from an RWA pool as liquid poured into stacked containers. The safest investors stand at the top. They get paid first, accept the lowest yield, and only lose money after everyone beneath them is wiped out. Middle investors get paid next. They trade moderate risk for moderate return. At the bottom are junior or equity holders. They're paid last, earn the highest upside, and absorb the first losses when things go wrong. You can also think of one pool of assets throwing off several distinct claims. LP tokens are the pure investor slice. They absorb the pool's day-to-day risk and return. Protocol fee tokens step back a level. They're tied to aggregate protocol fees, so they ride the platform's overall success, not any single asset's default. Originator carry tokens are the upside kicker for originators, paying out only when the underlying borrowers actually perform. Another way to see it is like a building designed to absorb shocks. The foundation is the junior, or first loss piece. It takes the first hit when assets go bad, but in exchange it aims for the highest return. Above that is the mezzanine layer, which gets some protection from losses and targets a balanced medium return. At the top sit the senior holders. They're insulated by everyone below and focus mainly on capital preservation. Tranche design doesn't just slice risk, it also programs behavior. Senior capital is last to take losses, so it mainly wants protection. It's comfortable with limited governance power, as long as it has veto rights and strong covenants that keep things conservative. Junior or equity capital is first to take losses. That pain makes it highly motivated to monitor assets, challenge originators, and actively steer decisions. They should hold most of the real control. Long-term alignment works like a steering wheel with 3 spokes. Utility and access give the token real use. You stake to originate deals, access capacity, or lower fees. Time-weighted voting rewards people who stay, not tourists who farm a snapshot and leave. And performance checkpoints wire real KPIs into token unlocks and bonuses. So upside only arrives when the assets behave. Together, these forces push every participant toward patient, protocol-level success. Staking turns reputation into real financial exposure. The originator locks tokens as a guarantee. If the asset pool behaves as promised, they earn. Tokens are released and often topped up with performance fees. That's upside for doing what they said they would do. If default spike or fraud appears, those same tokens are slashed to cover senior investors. The core principle is simple. Skin in the game only works if the downside is painful enough to change behavior. Governance for an RWA protocol is best designed in layers. At the macro layer, A protocol-level body sets global risk limits, fee structures, and overall methodology. That's where you decide, what kind of protocol are we? At the micro layer, pool-level governance decides which assets qualify, what loan-to-value they get, and when a pool should be wound down. On top of that, you add safeguards, quorum rules, specialist risk committees, and emergency multi-sigs for fast, but clearly bounded crisis intervention. Put it all together, and RWA protocols become an alignment engine. When originators keep real skin in the game through junior tranches or staking, they care deeply about underwriting quality and ongoing monitoring. Tranching then shields senior capital from most losses, which makes the product attractive to conservative institutional liquidity. That cheaper, more stable senior capital lowers the overall cost of funding, so the protocol can finance better real-world assets. Those better portfolios reinforce the whole cycle. Now imagine you're structuring this pool for real investors. With an 8 to 10% target return and very risk-averse seniors, you might give seniors most of the capital stack and a first claim on principal, while juniors take a smaller slice but absorb losses first. Fees can sit between interest and principal, and governance tokens decide when to pause new loans if performance deteriorates. When you design an RWA token, anchor everything to 4 pillars. First, encode economic reality. Token rights must mirror the actual legal contracts and cash flows with no ambiguity. Second, match risk to appetite. Use tranches and waterfalls so each capital type sits in the risk layer it understands. Third, demand skin in the game. Require first loss positions and staking from originators. Fourth, stress test governance. Align voting with exposure and predefine clear emergency playbooks.